folks, welcome back to DIY Nat. I've been trying to find some better marking instruments to use when I'm doing carpentry and metalworking and so forth, so I picked up this Hiboom set off of Amazon. I don't know much about Hiboom, but the price was right, and so here's what's in here. We've got a bunch of stuff here. We got there's two pencils with see that a little better. Two pencils with I have metal ferrules down here, and the leads in there. I believe they are 2mm. I think they're 2mm. So two of those style. I had one of these, not a Hiboom, but a similar one. I think it was Dixon, but the shaft was plastic on it, and I used it all the time. One day I had it in my pocket. When I knelt down to do something, it snapped in two, and I just didn't replace it right at the time. So that'll come in handy. So there's two of these in there, and there's also two of these more traditional style with the more traditional pen style on the bottom. The advantage of these is these real long ones, if you're tracing along something, it works a little better. Also, if you have to go into a hole and make a mark, these have a lot deeper reach, so that's the advantage of those. So that came with that. It also came with leads and also some colored leads. I believe they're some kind of wax. And as a bonus, we get there is a automatic center punch, which appears to be rather better than the junky one I've been using. So that's a good addition. And then there's a scriber also. So when you are marking metal, you need a hardened scriber to make a scratch mark on it. So that is so those are bonus items for this. Let's open one of these and see what we got here. Let's see that. There we go. Okay. So there's the item. It has a little clip on it to put it in your pocket. And one feature of these, which is kind of interesting, is if you screw the top off, I don't know how well you can see that, it's actually pencil sharpener. So you extend the lead out and you can actually sharpen the pencil. Usually when I'm out in the field, it's the sharpening consists of using a utility knife to kind of whittle away a regular pencil, and it doesn't always sharpen very well. So, and they work by the lead advances by just pumping the top. And if you want to retract it, you just hold the button down and pushing it back in. Now, there are several brands that are popular with this style of pencil. I forget off the top of my head what the most. There's one particular that's kind of well known, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. So, but this was not. They were a little more expensive than these, but this looked like a good deal because we had all this. They seem to be fairly sturdy, and as you can see, maybe you can't see, but it makes a pretty good line. So these are proper graphite leads. They make a nice dark mark as opposed to, let's see if I got a pencil around here, as opposed to a, that's actually not a good example. Hang on 1 second. You can see the difference here. Those are the ones I made with the Hiboom, and here's a typical standard pencil. So if you're doing rough carpentry work, these are definitely a better marking tool than a standard pencil. And as I said, that fact you can sharpen it is good. Let's see what the red one looks like on wood. Okay, so you can see that, and if you were, I didn't have a piece of dark wood to show you on, but if you had walnut or something like that, this would show up a lot better than the black lines would. And if you're marking metal, it's not really a bold mark being made by that, but at least you can see it, as opposed to a pencil where you can't see it at all. So it's good for marking metal as well. And the other here you have the more traditional style pencil with and these are let me put this over here. A little hard to see, but they're providing a somewhat finer line. So if you're going to use that for woodworking or finished carpentry, that might be a more appropriate thing to use. But for a large part of what I'm doing these days, and especially for framing and rough carpentry, this other style with the shaft coming out of it, the straight shaft coming out of it, might be more useful. If you're not familiar with the center punch, what it does is if you place it down on a spot on your metal and you push down on it, there's a kind of a hammering action in there, and it will put a little divot in the metal, and that will give you a spot to register your drill bit if you're drilling a hole. So as you know, when you're drilling especially harder metals like steel, like this is, the bit tends to wander about if it doesn't have something to register on. So this tool would allow you to put that mark wherever you wanted it, and that would serve as a point to hold the drill bit so it doesn't wander about and make ugly marks all over your work. So these are quite nice to have, and this one actually feels pretty good. The other one I have was just some junky thing. I think I just got it at a flea market or something, but this actually feels like it's decent quality. And then of course the scriber, if you want to, you can make a very fine line on your metal with that, and that probably has a carbide tip, I would imagine. As far as the leads are concerned, there are two different sizes here. The traditional pen style has a smaller diameter lead. I think these are 2mm, and I think these are 2.5 or 2.7. I think that's the difference there. I'd have to look it up. But so basically, what you get is there's a lead in each one of these. There's one black and one red in the two pencils, and there is a total of 20 additional leads, 10 black, 10 red. So you get 11 red, 11 black on that, and these two also have leads in them, and you're getting 5 more of the black and 3 red and 3 yellow for the other one. So that should keep you going for quite a while. And let's do a little test here. Let's see if that crumbles a bit when you push on it. Let's try this. All right. The bigger lead seems to be pretty strong. When you push on the side of it, it doesn't snap off. You would expect the thinner lead to be more fragile, but this is pretty good. So for rough work, these are definitely the way to go. And if I recall correctly, the total on this was less than $20. So this is a pretty good pile for $20. You got a lot of lead, the 4 pens, and the 2 bonus items, which are going to come in handy. If you don't do a lot of metal work, you mostly do carpentry or woodworking, you might not even have these 2 items, and so having them just handy is great. So the only thing I saw that some of the other ones had that this does not have is that there was a couple of the other brands had a case that this slid into, and it was actually the case that you would clip to your shirt or your tool belt. It would be nice to have the case because it would protect the end of this, but for the difference in the price, I didn't think it was worth it, because basically for the price of this you were getting couple of the brands you're only getting one pen and you know, maybe a few lids. This is a pretty good setup. I don't know how they're going to hold up in the long run, but they got good reviews online, so hopefully it'll be good. So I will let you know how it works out. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing as always, and you take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.